Hi there. Welcome back to my YouTube channel again. This is Bob Yoho. Since I was last here with you, since we last talked, a lot of things have happened with West Virginia football. Some of them unexpected, some of them not. West Virginia played Oklahoma last week. A lot of what I talked to you about last week has not been greatly altered. Now, some of our conclusions about it may have changed, but we've had a lot better picture on what's happened since then. A lot's happened personally for me since then. I've had, I hit a deer with a car, tore it all up, did thousands of dollars worth of damage to it. Of course, you guys don't care about that, but so I'll just skip that. That was a personal problem there, but. Since last week, West Virginia's came up. They beat Oklahoma, and I was thrilled about that victory. For quite some time now, West Virginia's only had two coaches ever beat Oklahoma. That would have been Don Nehlen and would have been Bill Stewart, and they just haven't been able to beat them. And they've never beaten them as long as they've been in the Big 12 conference together. And Oklahoma, throughout that period of time, most of it, Oklahoma's kind of had a swagger about them. They were just confident. They kind of knew they were the big dogs in town. Even Texas thinks that a little bit, but honestly, I don't think West Virginia's ever been scared of Texas. But I think Oklahoma, they just had an idea that they were going to beat us, and I think West Virginia had an idea they were going to get beaten. And many times they have. Even we've had some of our best teams. One year, I was there, Tavon Austin absolutely run ragged on Oklahoma all day long, and West Virginia couldn't beat them. They just could not win that game. And there was nothing they could do about it. And I think Oklahoma, for most of this time, has had the same swagger maybe that even Miami had, the same kind of attitude that they're a little bit better than everybody, and a lot of West Virginia fans thought maybe they were, and probably some of West Virginia teams thought they were too. But it's a little bit like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was invincible for years and years, but then Evander Holyfield fought him twice and beat him twice, and then suddenly nobody was that scared of Tyson anymore. Even Buster Douglas beat him after that point. And when West Virginia and Miami played together, and when they were in the Big East together, Miami had kind of had that swagger about them. And West Virginia beat them in 1993, 17-14, and Nehlen beat them. And I think that broke down a little bit of the invincibility that they had. And they were beaten again. Actually, they weren't beat, I think, about 2003. Rodriguez, I think his third year there at West Virginia, we should have beaten him that year. Quincy had a big run for a touchdown, and we scored too early, and they came back and won that game. But the truth is, from that point on, West Virginia was never scared of Miami. They lost some of their swagger. They lost some of their invincibility. And it's the same thing with Oklahoma. They'd already been beaten by Kansas State. They'd been beaten TCU. Of course, Texas, that ain't a big deal. That's kind of a rivalry there between them. But Baylor had beaten them too. So when West Virginia beat them, it really didn't mean quite as much as it would have any of those other years, because Oklahoma, nobody's scared of them anymore. Oklahoma and Texas think they're going to take off for the SEC, and they don't have the same value that they had when they first talked about going there. Nobody's scared of them anymore. West Virginia was never scared of Texas for whatever reason, but Oklahoma just seemed to have their number. But we went right from the beginning. We went right to Texas and put it right on them. We were not scared of them, and we've done pretty well there. But since we talked, and I made that suggestion that maybe West Virginia needed to fire Neal Brown, I have not changed my mind. I still think he needs to go. And I will say, one game does not a season make. Beating Oklahoma although I'm happy about it, I'm thrilled to finally break through that, and now West Virginia now has a win against every team in that conference. Nobody in the Big 12 conference has beaten West Virginia every time they played, and Oklahoma had that going for them until this game. So the win didn't mean as much as it would have in other years, but I'm telling you, for a West Virginia fan, it was still good to see. But the thing about it is, that's still only 4 wins for West Virginia. They've got a game here probably another hour or so, and they play Kansas State. Kansas State's another team that beat Oklahoma. So one game does not a season make as far as Oklahoma. We still got 2 games to even become bowl eligible. We have to win out to even play in a bowl. And honestly, I don't think Neal Brown's fate has been changed by his victory over Oklahoma. I do think it may have prolonged what's going to happen to him to another week, and maybe till the end of the season. But I do think that win over Oklahoma probably saved him a firing, but it didn't save somebody else. As you all know, in the news this week, you've seen where Shane Lyons has been the athletic director has been fired by the Mountaineers. And quite possibly his firing was the direct result of the extension he had given Neal Brown recently that made him pretty well unfireable this year, just in sheer terms of money. And I think Shane Lyons had maybe expressed some confidence in Neal Brown that the West Virginia leaders didn't have. And I think maybe they felt like in order to get rid of Neal Brown, they got to get rid of Shane Lyons. So if I'm Neal Brown, I'm awful nervous about that. And I still think Neal Brown's going to be gone. Who we get to replace him, I have no idea. It was kind of interesting this week. I suggested a scenario where maybe we could hire Pat White as kind of a Hail Mary to try to, get under the financial problems that we had. And that was a suggestion I had. But I found it real interesting that even Pat White weighed into the mix after Shane Lyons firing as athletic director, that it was even mentioned that Pat White even suggested somebody to take over as athletic director. So I thought it was kind of interesting that Pat White weighed in on this as well. But it's hard to tell what's going to happen from right now. Shane Lyons is definitely going to be replaced. I have a hunch that West Virginia may be looking for some way to make Bob Huggins their athletic director, and maybe why he's still coaching at West Virginia, and possibly as a job for him when he chooses to retire, which may not be all that far in the near future. But Bob Huggins would be an excellent choice for athletic director. I mean, nobody's more loyal to the university than Bob Huggins, and he knows everyone, so I think he might be a good choice as athletic director, and I think that might be where they're heading. Maybe putting it in the hands of an interim guy until Huggins is ready, or possibly just at some point announcing they were going to hire Huggins. That's my hunch, is what's going to happen. As far as coaches, I don't know. I do not know what they're going to do, but I do think Neal Brown prolonged his firing, but I think it's still going to happen. And anyway, I'm reading the tea leaves like every other West Virginia fan out there. Nobody knows right now. And I don't have any inside sources. A lot of what I think is just hunches and years of following the team. But so I don't have anything. I don't know anything special that anybody else knows. I'm not going to, on this YouTube channel, I'm not even going to talk every week about West Virginia. I haven't up till now, and I'm not going to. But I thought it needed to be addressed. We're going to wait and see what happens. I hope we beat Kansas State this week and we win out next week against Oklahoma State. I think it's a tall order. I'm not sure Neal Brown's up to it. And anything short of that, I don't think he has a prayer of staying there at West Virginia. I'm not sure winning out will even keep him here. But we're going to see what happens this week and next week. And I would love to see West Virginia get to a bowl just as a fan. But it's a tall order, and I still don't think Neal Brown's up to it. So I'm excited about the West Virginia win, and so we're going to see what happens this week. But I thank you for stopping in. I hope you'll hit like and subscribe and come back and check me out. I'm not going to do West Virginia sports every week. That isn't what my YouTube channel's about. But I love West Virginia sports. I've always been a fan, and so it'd be surprising if I didn't talk about them from time to time. So I'm gonna slip on out of here. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you'll hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thank you now. Bye.